If these words somehow find you before we ever meet, I want you to know something that no photograph, no social media profile, and no first conversation could ever tell you. Somewhere in this world, there is a man who is fighting battles you cannot see. Every sunrise is another promise he refuses to break. Every sleepless night is another chapter in a story that has not reached its greatest moment yet. That man is speaking to you now, not because he knows your name, not because destiny has already introduced us, but because I believe every extraordinary love story begins long before two people shake hands. It begins with preparation. It begins with becoming. It begins with a decision to build a life worthy of the person you have not met yet. People spend their lives searching for the right person, while ignoring the harder question. Are they becoming the right person? Most people pray for love while neglecting discipline. They ask for loyalty while entertaining excuses. They dream of a beautiful future while refusing to build beautiful habits today. I chose a different path. I decided that before I ever asked someone to believe in me, I must first become someone worth believing in. Future wife, wherever you are today, perhaps you are chasing your own dreams. Maybe you are rebuilding after disappointment. Maybe you have already learned that temporary emotions cannot replace lasting character. Maybe life has tested your patience in ways nobody else understands. If that's true, then know this: we have something in common already. We are both being shaped by moments that no audience applauds. We are both growing in silence while the world celebrates only visible victories. The world measures success by what people can display. Expensive cars, beautiful houses, luxury vacations, perfect photographs. But the strongest foundations are invisible. Character is invisible. Integrity is invisible. Self-control is invisible. Yet these invisible qualities determine whether visible success lasts or disappears. I learned this lesson when everything around me seemed uncertain. There were days when progress was invisible. Days when effort produced no applause. Days when doubt whispered louder than confidence. I discovered that the greatest victories are not won in front of a crowd. They are won in private moments when nobody is watching, when quitting would be easy, and when continuing requires faith instead of evidence. Every successful entrepreneur understands something that most people never discover. The harvest never arrives the same day the seed is planted. There is always a season when nothing appears to be happening. Underground, unseen, roots are growing stronger. The surface remains quiet, but beneath it, life is preparing for an extraordinary breakthrough. Human potential works exactly the same way. Perhaps you will meet me after people call me successful. They will see confidence. They will notice achievements. They will admire the life that took years to build. What they will never fully understand is the price that success demanded before anyone noticed it. They will not remember the mornings that began before sunrise. They will not remember the opportunities I refused because they compromised my values. They will not remember the lonely seasons when belief was the only thing stronger than uncertainty. Success is never created by one dramatic moment. It is created by thousands of invisible decisions that almost nobody celebrates. That is why I am not waiting for the future to transform me. I am allowing today's choices to build tomorrow's identity. Future wife, I hope that when our paths finally cross, you don't simply see what I own. I hope you recognize who I have become. Wealth can disappear. Titles can change. Businesses can rise and fall. But a disciplined mind, a peaceful heart, and unwavering character become stronger with every challenge life presents. I have learned that abundance begins long before money enters a bank account. Abundance begins inside the mind. A grateful person sees opportunities where others see obstacles. A disciplined person creates momentum where others create excuses. A faithful person continues walking even when the destination cannot yet be seen. That is the mindset I am building every single day, because one day, when we sit together reflecting on the journey, I don't want to tell you stories about dreams I almost pursued. I want to tell you about mountains that looked impossible until persistence carried me to the summit. Every setback has become a teacher. Every failure has become an investment. Every delay has become preparation for responsibilities I could not have carried before. People often ask why some individuals remain calm while everything around them falls apart. The answer is simple. They have already fought their greatest battles within themselves. External storms no longer control those who have learned to master the storm inside. That is the victory I pursue, not perfection, mastery, because perfection is an illusion, but growth is a decision repeated every day. I have stopped comparing my timeline to anyone else's. Comparison is a prison disguised as motivation. The moment you measure your destiny against someone else's chapter, you begin losing sight of your own purpose. Instead, I compete with yesterday's version of myself. Every sunrise offers another opportunity to become wiser than I was before. Every challenge is another invitation to grow stronger than yesterday. Maybe, somewhere in your own life, you are learning this lesson too. Maybe while I am building my future, you are quietly building yours. Maybe while I am strengthening my character, you are discovering your own resilience. And maybe the distance between us is not an accident. Maybe it is a classroom. Maybe every delay is teaching us lessons that will one day protect the life we are meant to build together. Because timing is powerful. A seed planted too early struggles. A fruit picked too soon loses its sweetness. Even the strongest bridges require time before they can safely carry great weight. Why should extraordinary relationships be any different? I refuse to rush what deserves patience. The world encourages instant gratification, faster results, faster relationships, faster success, but everything truly valuable follows a different rhythm. Great businesses require years. Strong reputations require consistency. Deep trust requires countless moments of honesty. Real love deserves the same patience. So instead of asking, "When will I meet my future wife?" I ask a better question every morning: who must I become before that day arrives? That single question has changed everything. It has made me read when I wanted entertainment. It has made me learn when I wanted comfort. It has made me choose discipline over distraction. It has made me invest in my mind before expecting rewards in my life. Because I believe that destiny does not simply introduce prepared people to opportunities. Destiny also expects people to become prepared before those opportunities arrive. And if you are listening to these words today, perhaps this message was never only about finding someone else. Perhaps it is about finding the strongest version of yourself first. Because extraordinary love is not built by two incomplete people hoping the other will fill every empty space. It is built by two people who discovered purpose before they discovered each other. The journey that transforms an ordinary life into an extraordinary one is rarely loud. It is quiet, it is uncomfortable, it is filled with moments when nobody believes in your vision except you. Future wife, if you ever wonder where my confidence came from, understand this: it was not born from easy victories. It was forged in seasons when every reason to quit stood in front of me, yet something deeper kept whispering, "Keep going. Your future is larger than your fear." I stopped asking life to become easier. Instead, I asked myself to become stronger. That single shift changed everything. Challenges no longer looked like punishment. They became preparation. Every rejection sharpened my focus. Every setback strengthened my patience. Every closed door redirected me toward a greater opportunity that I could not yet see. People often believe successful lives are built through luck. They see the finish line, but never the miles that came before it. They admire confidence without witnessing insecurity being conquered. They applaud wealth without understanding the discipline that produced it. They celebrate success without respecting sacrifice. I learned that abundance is never an accident. It is a habit. Wealth begins with the way you think long before it appears in your bank account. A wealthy mindset refuses to waste time complaining about circumstances. It searches for solutions when others search for someone to blame. It invests while others consume. It creates while others criticize. That is the life I have chosen to build, not because money defines a person, but because freedom creates opportunities to serve, protect, and build something meaningful. I want the people I love to experience peace, not constant anxiety. I want my future family to inherit wisdom before wealth and character before comfort. Money without values disappears. Character creates prosperity that lasts for generations. Future wife, wherever you are today, I hope you are becoming stronger too. I hope disappointment has not stolen your ability to believe. I hope betrayal has not convinced you that loyalty no longer exists. I hope temporary failures have not become permanent labels in your mind. Never allow one painful chapter to convince you the entire story has been written. The strongest trees do not grow because the wind is gentle. They grow because their roots learn to hold firm during every storm. Human beings are no different. Pressure reveals what comfort never can. Adversity exposes courage that ordinary days keep hidden. There were moments when everything around me suggested I should settle. Settle for average. Settle for excuses. Settle for a life that looked acceptable from the outside but felt empty within. Yet every time I considered lowering my standards, I remembered something powerful. The quality of your future is determined by the standards you refuse to compromise today. That is why I protect my time. I protect my focus. I protect my peace. The world is full of distractions pretending to be opportunities. Not every open door deserves to be entered. Not every voice deserves to be followed. Wisdom is not only knowing what to pursue. Wisdom is knowing what to walk away from. I have discovered that the greatest investment is not a stock, a business, or a property. It is your own mind. Every book that expands your thinking, every skill you develop, every lesson you learn becomes an asset nobody can steal. Markets rise and fall, economies change, trends disappear, but the person you become travels with you wherever you go. So every morning I ask myself, what can I learn today that my future will thank me for? That question keeps me moving forward even when results are invisible. Progress is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is simply refusing to become the person you used to be. If one day we share a home, I don't want our children to remember me only for what I achieved. I want them to remember how I treated people, how I kept my promises, how I stood firm when integrity was expensive, and how I chose purpose over popularity, because success without character is fragile. Real greatness is measured by the lives you elevate, the hope you create, and the example you leave behind. Perhaps that is why we have not met yet. Perhaps life is still refining both of us. Diamonds are formed under pressure, not comfort. Steel is strengthened by fire, not ease. The strongest hearts are shaped by patience, faith, and unwavering commitment to becoming better every single day. So I refuse to fear the waiting season. The waiting season is not empty. It is productive. It is where vision becomes discipline. Discipline becomes character, and character becomes destiny. One day our paths may finally cross. If that day comes, I want you to meet a man whose greatest achievement is not what he owns, but who he chose to become. Until then, I will keep building, keep learning, keep believing, and keep walking toward a future that rewards courage more than convenience, because I know this with absolute certainty. The life worth living is never discovered by accident. It is created, one decision, one sacrifice, and one act of faith at a time. There is one final truth I want you to carry with you, whether you are listening to this as the person I may one day meet, or as someone standing at the beginning of your own journey. Your future is not decided by a single moment of inspiration. It is decided by the promises you keep when inspiration fades. Anyone can feel motivated for an hour. Champions build their lives through discipline that lasts for years. I no longer fear slow progress because I understand the language of greatness. Every meaningful achievement is built brick by brick, choice by choice, day by day. Mountains are not climbed in one leap. Empires are not built in one morning. Extraordinary relationships are not created by perfect people. They are built by people who wake up every day and choose growth over comfort, honesty over convenience, and purpose over distraction. Future wife, if our paths are meant to cross, I hope you meet a man who has already learned that real strength is quiet. It does not need constant attention. It does not seek approval from strangers. It stands firm because it is rooted in values that cannot be shaken by temporary opinions. I hope you meet someone who understands that success is not measured only by income but by impact. Wealth is valuable, but wisdom is priceless. Influence is powerful, but integrity is irreplaceable. Achievement opens doors, but character determines which doors remain open, and if life delays our meeting, I will not complain about the waiting. I will use every extra day to become wiser, stronger, healthier, and more prepared than I was yesterday. Every sunrise is another opportunity to refine my vision. Every challenge is another opportunity to sharpen my resilience. Every setback is another reminder that the road to significance has never been easy for those determined to leave a meaningful legacy. To everyone listening, this message is larger than romance. It is about refusing to live beneath your potential. Stop waiting for confidence before taking action. Confidence is earned through action. Stop waiting for perfect timing before beginning your dream. Perfect timing rarely announces itself. Begin where you are, with what you have, and let consistent effort create opportunities that fear could never imagine. Remember this: Your habits are introducing you to your future long before you arrive there. Every disciplined morning, every difficult conversation handled with maturity, every hour spent learning instead of complaining is quietly shaping the person you are becoming. Your future is watching the choices you make today. So stand taller than your doubts, dream bigger than your circumstances, work harder than your excuses. Guard your peace, protect your vision, invest in your mind, lead with humility, celebrate progress, even when it is invisible to everyone else. One day you will look back and realize that the seasons you wanted to escape were the very seasons that prepared you for the life you now cherish. The obstacles that once seemed unfair became the training ground for your greatest victories. The delays that frustrated you protected you from arriving before you were ready. That is why I choose faith over fear. I choose perseverance over surrender. I choose purpose over popularity. I choose long-term vision over short-term comfort. Those choices are not always easy, but they are always worth making. If our story is ever written, I want its foundation to be built on two people who first learned how to stand on their own principles. If our story is never written, these lessons remain true. A meaningful life is never wasted. Every act of discipline, every sacrifice, every honest effort leaves a mark that reaches farther than we can see. As this chapter closes, make one decision that your future self will thank you for. It does not have to be dramatic, it simply has to be real. Read one more page, take one more step, make one courageous phone call, learn one new skill, forgive one old burden. Keep one important promise to yourself, because destiny is not waiting for a different version of you. It is waiting for the version of you that refuses to quit. Walk forward with courage, build with intention, love with integrity, lead with humility, and never allow temporary darkness to convince you that the sunrise has forgotten your name. Your breakthrough may not arrive today. It may not arrive tomorrow. But if you continue becoming the person your dreams require, then when opportunity finally knocks, you will not have to become ready. You will already be ready. And that is the quiet power of a life lived with purpose. There comes a moment in every ambitious person's life when the applause disappears, the excitement fades, and all that remains is a choice. A choice between returning to comfort or continuing toward greatness. Most people think success is built during the moments when everyone is watching. They are wrong. Success is built during the moments when nobody is watching and you decide to continue anyway. Future wife, if one day you wonder what it costs to become the man standing in front of you, know this. It cost comfort. It cost excuses. It cost nights when rest would have been easier than discipline. It cost mornings when doubt tried to convince me that average was enough. But every time I was tempted to settle, I remembered a truth that changed my life. The future does not reward potential. It rewards commitment. Potential is common. Commitment is rare. Millions of people have dreams. Few have the courage to organize their lives around those dreams. I decided that if I was going to ask life for something extraordinary, I had to become someone extraordinary first. That meant learning to walk alone when necessary. The road of transformation is often quiet. Friends may not understand your discipline. Family may question your vision. The world may call your focus obsession. But history has never been changed by people who were afraid of being misunderstood. Every successful entrepreneur learns the same lesson eventually. You cannot build a new future while protecting every old habit. Growth demands sacrifice. If you want a stronger body, something must be sacrificed. If you want financial freedom, something must be sacrificed. If you want a meaningful relationship, something must be sacrificed. The question is not whether sacrifice is required. The question is whether the sacrifice is worth the future it creates. For me, the answer became clear. I was not just building a business. I was building stability. I was not just developing confidence. I was building leadership. I was not just chasing success. I was building a life capable of protecting the people I love. Future wife, wherever you are, I hope you understand this when we meet. The disciplined version of me did not appear overnight. He was created through thousands of invisible decisions, through choosing learning over entertainment, through choosing purpose over distraction, through choosing long-term vision over short-term comfort. And there were seasons when it felt lonely, not because people were absent, but because few understood the mission. When you decide to become more than your circumstances, you will often outgrow environments that once felt familiar. That can be painful. But a seed cannot become a tree while remaining inside its shell. I stopped asking, why is this happening to me, and started asking, what is this preparing me for? That single question transformed every obstacle into training. Rejection became redirection. Delay became development. Pressure became preparation. Think about a diamond. Before it shines, it is buried. Before it is admired, it is compressed under immense pressure. Human greatness follows the same pattern. The pressure you feel today may be shaping the strength you will rely on tomorrow. That is why I no longer fear difficult seasons. Difficult seasons reveal difficult truths. They reveal who is committed and who is merely interested. They reveal whether your dream is a wish or a decision. A wish waits. A decision moves. I decided to move, even when progress was slow, even when results were invisible, even when nobody applauded, because I discovered something powerful. Consistency is more important than intensity. Anyone can work hard for a weekend. Few can remain disciplined for years. The people who change their lives are not always the most talented. They are often the most consistent. Future wife, if our paths cross one day, I don't want you to meet a man who only talks about ambition. I want you to meet a man who became what he once prayed for. A man whose actions matched his vision. A man who learned that leadership begins with self-leadership. And if you are listening to this not as my future wife, but as someone searching for direction, hear me clearly. Your current circumstances do not have the final word. Your past mistakes do not have the final word. Your fears do not have the final word. The final word belongs to the person you choose to become from this day forward. So raise your standards, protect your focus, invest in your mind, guard your peace, refuse to apologize for pursuing a meaningful life. One day, the sacrifices that feel heavy now will become the foundation of the life you once thought was impossible. The discipline that feels difficult today will create opportunities that undisciplined people will call luck. The lonely road of growth will lead to places crowded with possibilities. And when that day arrives, you will understand that the price of becoming was never a loss. It was an investment in your future, an investment in your purpose, an investment in the person you were always capable of becoming. Because extraordinary lives are not built by accident. They are built by people who are willing to pay the price of discipline today so they can live with the reward of purpose tomorrow. There is a silent moment that almost nobody notices. It does not come with fireworks. It does not arrive with applause or headlines. It comes quietly, like the sunrise that transforms the horizon while the world is still asleep. It is the moment you stop waiting for life to rescue you and decide to become the architect of your own future. Everything changes after that. The strongest people are not those who never experience fear. They are the ones who refuse to let fear become the author of their story. Every remarkable achievement in history began with someone taking one uncertain step before they could see the entire path. You may feel that your breakthrough is taking too long. You may wonder why others seem to move ahead while your progress feels invisible. But remember this. The tallest buildings spend months strengthening their foundations before a single floor rises above the ground. What looks like delay is often preparation. Your greatest competition is not another person. It is the version of yourself that keeps accepting limits you have already outgrown. Every day gives you an opportunity to silence that voice with action. Wake up a little earlier. Learn one more skill. Finish what you started. Keep promises to yourself. These small victories become the habits that build extraordinary lives. The world celebrates dramatic transformations, but it rarely sees the ordinary decisions that created them. Behind every confident leader were years of uncertainty. Behind every successful entrepreneur were countless failures that taught lessons no classroom ever could. Behind every inspiring story was someone who refused to quit when quitting would have been understandable. That is why your current struggle does not disqualify you. It may be preparing you. Do not measure your future by today's circumstances. Circumstances change, character endures, skills grow, wisdom compounds, discipline multiplies. The investment you make in yourself today may not pay tomorrow, but one day it will produce results so remarkable that people will call your success overnight. Only you will know the years hidden beneath that moment. Protect your attention because attention is the currency of achievement. Every distraction steals a piece of the future you are trying to build. Every hour spent improving yourself is an investment that no one can take away. When you control your focus, you begin to control your direction. When you control your direction, you begin to shape your destiny. There will always be voices telling you to settle, to lower your expectations, to accept an ordinary life because extraordinary dreams seem unrealistic. Listen politely, then continue walking. History belongs to those who were willing to believe in a vision long before the world believed with them. One day, you will look back at this season and realize it was never about surviving difficult days. It was about becoming a different person, a wiser person, a stronger person, a calmer person, someone capable of carrying opportunities that the old version of you could not have handled. Never underestimate the power of consistency. A single workout changes little, but years of training reshape a body. A single page changes little, but hundreds of books reshape a mind. A single courageous decision may feel small, yet it can redirect an entire lifetime. So keep moving, keep learning, keep building. Refuse to let temporary disappointment become permanent defeat. Every sunrise gives you another chance to become the person your future is waiting for, because your story is still being written. The chapter you are living today is not the conclusion. It is the preparation. The victory you imagine is not reserved for people with perfect beginnings. It belongs to those who keep walking when the road becomes difficult. Walk with courage, build with discipline, lead with integrity. Let your actions become louder than your fears, and when your moment finally arrives, you will not need to convince anyone that you earned it. Your life will speak for itself. The future is not calling you to become someone else. It is calling you to fully become the person you were capable of being all along.